Getting too old for this. I can unclamp my handle and get my pulley wheel out of the way and put my belt back on. See if I can get it on. I might have to pull on the... See, now it's on. Now, once I've done that, I want to double check my auger brake. You want to make sure that the auger brake is not hung up. You see how it's snapping back? That's the way it should be. Sometimes it might be stuck open. I've seen that. It's hung up on something. So you might have to get a pry bar or a screwdriver to see what it's hung up on. Okay, so this looks good. This is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to shut your belt off. Okay, now you got that going. And the rest of it's fairly easy. You can put your bolts back in. What I usually do is I start them all. I put anti-seize grease. You know, 20 years from now, you might have to take the bucket off again. So I put anti-seize grease on the bolts. And I just start them. That's all. I'm not going to do each one. You got 10 bolts and you start them all. Just start all your bolts. That's all. You got 10. Start them all. And then what I do is there's a little bit of play here. Can you see the play? I lift it up. For some reason, it helps the bucket travel straighter on the driveway. So I lift it up and then I'll tighten this down. I'll tighten down these two. And then after that, I'll tighten the top ones. You know, you start them all first. I don't want to take up all your time. You start all the bolts up, and then you'll tighten up crosswise. You'll tighten up this one, the other side, the bottom ones, and then the middle ones. Excuse me. The middle ones I usually do last. Do the top ones. Okay. And then once you've got them all started and you've double checked your auger brake to make sure it's right, then you can put your impeller back in, the opposite of how you took it out. What I do is I put the impeller in first. Where is it? Oh. I usually put my impeller pin in. my impeller in first, and you want to make sure that you go through the big hole first. Gotta line it up. See, sometimes it's difficult. That's why I like to put the impeller in first, because if you try to put the impeller and the augers in at the same time, a lot of times this is going to happen. It starts okay, but you can't get it through the other end. So what you have to do, the auger wheel came out a little bit, so I get a pry bar, and I'll pry it in. So I've already got everything tight on your bucket. Let me see what I can do here. I can get a screwdriver and stick in here, try to pull this out a little bit and see if the impeller will go on through the hole. See, the hole's right here. I'll line up the big hole with it. Okay, so now it went through. I always think I'm pretty prepared. Okay, so now the impeller pin's in there. I can put the nut on there. After I've done that, I can put the augers back in. I showed you how to take them out. It's just the opposite of taking them out, putting them back in. And then you can put it on the ground. You can reattach your shooter control. You can put your chute back on if you took that off. And here's your belt guide. See, it's kind of perpendicular now. That's where it was before I pried it out. So your belt's not, it's guided by this guide, and this side over here is a fixed. But this is a guide. If you want to, you can take it off with the 2 bolts and put it on nice and straight. But I've done so many of these. I know where it goes. So after I've put my bolts back in, everything's tightened, and everything's back together, then you can test it. Start up the engine and test your augers. You want to make sure that your augers in your impeller don't have any clanking sounds or anything. And before you put your belt cover on, you want to watch the action. You want to watch disengage your transmission. You want to make sure that your drive belt is running true onto this wheel, and it's driving. It's going very nicely. And then you want to try your augers and make sure that your auger belt's running true and running without jumping or running on the sides or anything. And you give it a good testing before you put the cover back on, and then you're pretty much good to go. The first time you do this, it might take a couple hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. I can usually do it in about 45 minutes, but I'm just gonna button it all back up now. So this is how you replace your belts on a Honda Snowblower. If you think this video has helped you and saved you some money, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. And I appreciate you watching very much. Thank you.